Welcome to Finish the Race, a conservative Christian podcast where we'll dive deep into the current events and social issues affecting Americans.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
In times like these, truth, principles, and solutions matter. Through God's Word, we can restore our true American values, faith, family, and country.
However, I consider my life worth nothing to me. My only aim is to finish the race and complete the task the Lord Jesus has given me, the task of testifying to the good news of God's grace.
Now, here's your host, Eric-Thompson.
Hello, welcome to another Finish the Race podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Eric-Thompson out here in California. It is Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. Hope you guys had a great day. We're going to go over three main stories, three or four throughout the podcast. One of them, it is really, really horrific. It was just took place a few hours ago, so you may have different details than what I'm going to discuss with you about a mass shooting at an elementary school about 85 miles west of San Antonio. But all the stories that we're going to cover, and these are all trending, deal with sin. They deal with narcissism. They deal with people in a culture and people around the world that have taken their own autonomy, their own value, and they've elevated above anybody else, and thus they're not even approachable anymore. And then when these people get around society, they do sociopathic and crazy things because they've been turned over to their own mind. And then when they get into government positions, which we'll get to, you end up like the Biden administration or the World Economic Forum that believes that the governments of the world can fix everything if people would just give up their autonomy and their power to them. If people would just quit trying to be individuals, they could fix everything. And those are really the main drivers of the stories when you're looking around. If you want to get information on the podcast, check out my political articles. I write about 4 to 5 a day. Over at finishtherace.com, finishtherace.com, and they're from a Christian worldview, because I believe that we have to look at things in balance and from a correct perspective, not a secular position of, oh my goodness, there's no hope. Well, there's always hope, even though the news is bad. First story, horrific. The numbers may have changed by the time you're hearing this. In a city about 85 miles, like I said, west of San Antonio, it's Uvalde, I believe, Texas. At least 15 people are dead. And unfortunately, heartbreakingly, 13 are between first and third grade. The story is a kid that graduated from the school, 18 years old, went to the school before noon, about 11:50, and he went in to where the elementary kids were, and he shot 13 to death. There's dozens of other kids in the hospital. Shot the teacher, and then he was killed. The Border Patrol agent team of BORTAC, a special response team, and the Texas Highway Patrol happened to be right by the school. They showed up to assist the first responders. And that's all we know right now. He's a U.S. citizen. His name, which doesn't matter really at this point because the guy doesn't deserve any notoriety. His last name, I think, was Ramos. But Governor Abbott confirmed it, that it's a town of 16,000 residents. So you can imagine what a small town like that, how when you have 13 or more families that are dealing with deaths and other dozens of families dealing with children that were shot in a town of 16,000. It's profound. Now, the argument is already, well, we got to get rid of guns. If this kid didn't have a gun, then he couldn't have shot anybody, and if he couldn't have shot anybody, then none of this would happen. His name was Salvador Ramos. Getting rid of guns has nothing to do with this. But see, when people are emotional, just like when we get to the Great Reset, when we get to the way that the government was able to get Americans who had never done it before to, along with the world, to shut down because they were told by their governments that millions of people could die. And if you simply would stay home for 15 days, it could pass. It never happened before in the United States, and people did it. And there's still cities and schools like Philadelphia, New York, where they're still requiring masks that have never been, only been proven to not work. So the political party, the Democratic Party, where Rahm Emanuel, who was Obama's chief of staff, said that you never want to let a good crisis go to waste, are already saying, just like in Philadelphia, just like now here in Texas, if these terrible people that want to maintain their right to bear arms would just stop and give up their guns, then mass shootings won't happen anymore. Now, they ignore the thousands and thousands of kids that shoot each other with pistols in the urban areas, primarily black on black. They don't want to talk about that. But they're going to, and the fact that this was an Hispanic kid, Mexican kid, Ramos, that's going to take away a lot of the steam, but they're still going to be able to say, vote for us in November, because then you can kill your babies in the womb up to, and some people believe after birth, and you can get rid of guns if you just vote for us. Even though we're destroying the economy, gasoline's going to $6 a gallon, the culture's collapsing, chain supply issues, problems getting baby formula, everything's falling apart. But vote for us because of a deranged guy that shot children, then the whole country should give up their liberties. So it's a tough moment. So we want to be in prayer for the family and just people that God would show up and be present. He will be, but he would be in a special way that would be visible and close to the people that are dealing with this. But this is one of the main stories. It's very politicized already, and it's going to be extreme. They're going to so politicize this before even people have left the hospital, the children, and some of the children that were killed, before some of them are buried, they're going to be already using their deaths for political purposes. And it's sick. Inflation's crazy, isn't it? You know, rents are up like 25, 30%. Real estate's through the roof. Insurance, now interest rates are going up. Gasoline is, I'm in California, over $6 a gallon. Groceries are up because of that. Everything made with plastic's more expensive because of gasoline. So if you're with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, or Sprint, I actually have really good news for you. You can actually leave them, cut your bill as a family about $900 a year without losing any service. Yes, I did it over a year and a half ago because my wife and I were sick of paying ridiculously high bills with T-Mobile, especially over data charges. So this is what you do. You go to this website, getpure, P-U-R-E, talk.com, getpuretalk.com. The company's Pure Talk USA out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. And all you do is you choose the plan that's right for you. And by going to getpuretalk.com, you're going to see a 50% discount through all the pricing. So the pricing is already about half of what you've been paying, but the first month you get an additional 50% off by using my promo code, 3 letters, FLS for For Liberty's Sake, FLS at checkout to get 50% off your first month. You don't have to pay if you go over on your data. No contract. So what you do is on the website, if you want to keep your current phones and keep your phone numbers, you just click on order the SIM cards. They're free. Put in the promo code at checkout, get half off. They'll mail them to you. You get them. You switch out the ones that are in your current phones. Keep your phones, keep your phone numbers, everything. Turn on the phones. Guess what? You're still going to be on the same 5G network. You're going to be on the same towers, and you're going to get the same number of bars, but for about half the cost. And if you go over on your data, they don't charge you. Customer service is in the Atlanta, Georgia area. CEO is a U.S. veteran, top-rated wireless company by Consumer Affairs, and I am referring them big time to you because I've been with them for over a year and a half, and I could not be happier. My bill's under, I think, $45 a month for 2 phones. Could not be happier. So go to getpuretalk.com right now. Choose a plan that's right for you. If you need a phone, they got huge discounts, $200 phones, all kinds of great. You can get phones if you need to, big discounts, but make sure you enter the promo code FLS checkout to get that 50% off your first month. And thank you for doing that. All right, the next story. You may or may not know about the World Economic Forum or something that's really come to the attention of a lot of people called the Great Reset. The Great Reset was the theme of the 2021 World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland, which started in 1971 by this spooky guy that you would see in some type of Bond movie named Klaus-Schwab from Germany. German engineer, talks really, he just fits the role. They didn't do it on purpose, but 1971, actually, the United States went off the gold standard with Nixon, and at the same time, the World Economic Forum started. And the World Economic Forum is basically trying to convert the world over to the new world order. And Herbert Walker Bush, if you remember him, in his re-election debate said, I see 1,000 points of light, a new world order. About any one that you can think of, from Prince Charles to John Kerry to Al Gore to all the bank executives, are in Davos, Switzerland right now at the World Economic Forum. And they are talking about all kinds of things. A chip that goes in a mandatory vaccination, it would immediately report to your doctor and to the government that you took it. Those type of things. We're talking George Soros, Kissinger, and all of them. Well, one of their ideas, and this is being pushed by the Chinese tech giant Alibaba, his idea that he presented to the World Economic Forum is this. Every human being should be given and carry around a digital individual carbon footprint tracker to track the actions, their actions of the public, how much are they driving? Are they riding a bike? Are they eating? What are they eating? What restaurant are they at? Speaking at the Strategic Outlook Responsible Consumption Conference at the World Economic Forum, on the panel, Alibaba Group President Michael Evans said that the company will be introducing more surveillance systems within China in order to usher in a so-called greener future. Quote, We're developing, through technology, the ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint, whether they're traveling, how they're traveling, what they're eating, what they're consuming on this platform. The former Goldman Sachs banker, not nice, over a Chinese company, dubbed the project the, quote, individual carbon footprint tracker, unquote, saying, quote, stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but it's something we are working on, unquote. Now, they already have the social credit score. They already have the tracking. They have cameras everywhere. Social credit score is you're walking across the street, you go through the red light, you jaywalk, you're mean to somebody, you cut them off. It's immediately reported, and if you're scored, I don't know what the number is. Let's say it's 500, is full access to the country where you can take a bus, fly, and everything, and work. But if you are contesting the government, if you are not falling in line with what the culture thinks you should be doing, you start getting dinged and you start losing privileges as a citizen. Now, this is similar to what's happening right now, because the Alibaba Group president said that the purpose of introducing the green tracking measures was not to make money. Now listen to this. But rather to contribute to our ESG commitments. I can't stress enough how dangerous and how end times-ish things are becoming. The banking system, because of this World Economic Forum, because of the Great Reset, because of the United Nations 2030 sustainability goals, because of the World Health Organization wanting to take over the world if there's a pandemic, the environmental, social, and governance rankings, which is compared to the Chinese social credit score, is being pushed by BlackRock-Financial and other major investment firms as a means of pressuring companies into abiding by woke dictates on the environment, as well as leftist tenets such as diversity, equity, and inclusion. So what you have is about 2,500 invited guests out in Davos, Switzerland, the most powerful people in the world, trying to figure out how to force every company in the world to run their company for stakeholders' ownership, not stockholders. Not for the express purpose of making money, but to make sure that the companies advance diversity. This could be a Mobil, Exxon. This could be a Harley Davidson motorcycles. Any company. They would have an ESG rating, which is going to determine risk for lenders, financial institutions like BlackRock, which is like the $16 trillion that they're over. So what would happen is a company would be like, well, we need to expand. Nah, you're actually, some of your Facebook posts are pro-Trump, and we consider you to be more of a risk where you may not be able to get financing in the future because of your political views, so you have to pay double the interest rate or you don't get financing. Well, then my business will close. Well, then you just need to change your mind. You need to conform. So they actually want the government to try to get, if these people were to get their way, and we're going to get to Biden here in a second, they literally by 2030 want no one to be driving a gas-powered car or even own a car by 2030. They don't want you to own a house. They want you to rent by 2030. BlackRock is funding several groups that are buying up billions of dollars of residential properties in the United States, overpaying and immediately flipping them as overpriced rentals, driving up rents. That's why real estate's up. That's why rents are through the roof. because BlackRock-Financial and the Great Reset are buying up as many private homes as they can because they want to own them all by 2030. So nobody can own anything. But yet, according to a Facebook video they put out a couple years ago, the Great Reset group believes that nobody will own anything by 2030, and yet everybody will be happy. Now, another big story coming out of this week is the World Health Organization is also meeting, and they were hoping to get a global treaty passed, a pandemic treaty, which would give them sovereignty over every participating nation in the event of a pandemic. They would determine what kind of shutdowns, mask requirements, vaccines would be required for, like, let's say, United States of America. But according to a report by the Washington Post, the World Health Organization might not be able to muster that up. Brazil, I know, was going to vote against it. But they said, but don't panic, because there's amendments proposed by the Biden administration to reduce the influence of member state governments over the WHO's disease outbreak declarations, which are still on the table. The Washington Post, which is all for this, grumbled that the WHO is facing a visceral, passionate online backlash for falsely accuses the WHO of conspiring to take over the power of national governments. The article treated concerns about damage to national sovereignty from a pandemic treaty or WHO rules changes as wholly irrational. The work of, quote, conspiracy theorists, unquote, in U.S., Canada, and Europe, whose fear-mongering is, it's, quote, so far-fetched that they are an version of reality, unquote. Now, some of the amendments are still on the table. So WHO treaty amendment would yield United States public health powers still to the United States. It says the article from Breitbart. Article 9 of Biden's administration's proposed amendment simply strikes out the existing requirement for WHO to consult with and attempt to obtain verification from the state party in whose territory the event is allegedly occurring. They want to take that out. They don't want countries to have the option to not provide the data. And the Biden administration still trying to give away power. So let's say President Trump's in office. This was to become law. And Trump's like, no, we're not going to say, let's say it's 2025. We're not going to shut down. So it's none of your business, WHO, what's going on. They could then say, no, you're part of the global pandemic treaty. And then let the fun begin. Now, what countries would not participate in this? What countries are in the way of the Great Reset taking place? China, Russia, India, and half of the United States of America. That's it. Japan and Korea, they would put up a fight, but China rules that area. So they're going to still try to get through the American amendments, which would give up some of our sovereignty to the World Health Organization. Thank you so much, Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden was speaking. He's had a tough couple days because he's already said that the United States would help defend Taiwan against China in this agreement we have with Taiwan, which is actually not true. The China One policy is in place, but Biden was speaking and he was asked by a reporter, well, you guys, the United States really didn't get involved with Ukraine early enough. Would you get involved and help defend Ukraine if China attacked? And he said yes. The White House, of course, freaked out. No. We're not changing. No. We want China to still think that Taiwan is part of their territory, but we're not going to say it officially is, but we're going to agree that China believes that. We're going to let Taiwan to stay independent, but we're not going to be dogmatic to China about that. So we're going to kind of stay neutral, provide some arms, but Biden, of course, messed it up. Well, now Biden was speaking, and I'm going to play a short clip of it. But he was actually asked, and Joe says, when it comes to gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place. God willing, when it's over, we'll be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels when this is over. And here's a quick bite of Joe Biden basically saying what I don't think he was supposed to really say openly. We intentionally have gasoline at $6 a gallon.
When it comes to the gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place that, God willing, when it's over, we'll be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels when this is over.
Okay, so in case you have any doubt, the United States is transitioning, according to the Biden administration, to the Green New Deal, to the United Nations 2030 sustainability goals of reducing carbon and working towards zero emissions by 2050. The White House is on that plan. You and I may not agree with it, but they believe it's happening. Joe did not say, oh, well, I understand you guys are crushed right now, and I understand you can't afford to pay your bills. So as he's speaking at a press conference with the Japanese Prime Minister, he was asked, hey, everything's bad, so what are you going to do about the high gasoline prices? And all Joe can say is, yeah, it's terrible, but I told you, and you heard me say before, it's a matter of great discussion at my kitchen table, and it was when I was growing up. And it's affecting a lot of families, but guess what? That's just part of this transformation over to getting off of fossil fuels. During Trump's time in office, gasoline got down to a national average around $2 per gallon. Some parts of the country was in the low $1.20, I think $1.20, $1.30 range. The average cost of gasoline today is now $4.60. The average family is, instead of spending $3,000, what was estimated because costs were already going up before Ukraine and all that, we're going to pay $2,000 more per family than what we were expecting before we went into this year. $5,000 a year for gasoline. Now, Joe's not reopening anything. But he did try to brag that, my administration, we took some steps which made it kind of better. But the fact is, it's exactly how they want it to be. So what they're hoping is that Americans would buy electric cars. And then when everybody buys electric cars, they think that would fix everything. Well, here's the reality. According to Kelley Blue Book, the average cost of an electric vehicle in February, $64,685. While the average cost of a compact car and a compact SUV, crossovers, about up to $33,300 or $700. So if you took out the fancy Teslas and all that, you're about $33,000. Average payment on a $33,000 vehicle is $622 a month. So here's what they're saying. Yeah, gas is crushing us. Inflation is through the roof. We're heading towards a recession. And you guys, we're just transforming to the great reset, the Green New Deal for the ESG qualification. So guess what? Get an electric car. Yeah, now you're gonna take on a $600, $700, $800 car payment if you can qualify for it. You have to put about a $2,500 to $3,000 plus charging station in your garage, which means you're going to use your electricity, which is up about 30%, like in California. So you're going to try to quit paying for gasoline by taking on a $600 and even a $33,000. The calculator said that's $622.75 a month. So you get yourself a car, $622.75 a month. You plug your car into a $3,000 rapid charging station, and then you have to pay for the power to charge your battery in your car. So then you end up not saving any money. That's the plan. Okay. What happens when those batteries in those cars go bad? What happens when the millions of solar panels have to get put in the junkyard? But that's the Biden plan. So you heard it. There's no doubt about it. We are in the midst of, according to the administration, we are on the boat heading the wrong direction, and we're sitting here complaining about it. But like he said again, when it comes to the gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place. God willing, when it's over, we'll be stronger. And the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels when this is over. The question I ask a lot on social media: do you think people are willing to do what's required to restore liberty in the United States? And that's a question I'm going to ask you as we end here. Do you think people are willing? Because right now, if you look at Harvard study and just natural birth rates and everything and of Hispanics and people that have poured over the border, we're between 30 to 40 million illegal aliens in the country. And this year, they're forecasting another 3 million plus coming over. We've got 100,000 plus visas of people coming over to work tech jobs and to work at service companies. They have children, then they get anchor babies, and then we have that to deal with the expanding Social Security base. Why do we send payments to illegal aliens in the United States? Tax returns, stimulus checks. Why do we give anybody in the country anything? It's unsustainable, and the left has been able to do this. We are sitting here watching the government attending the Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, to transform us over to a zero-emissions globalist state. And our president knowingly and is acknowledging that the gasoline is not going to go back down as people are pouring in the country. So the only solution is the 30, 40 million here, you have to go back. And people try to all of a sudden become Christians. They hate Christianity. But then they go, well, the Bible says, oh, wait a minute. You didn't want to hear about marriage from a biblical point of view. You didn't want to hear about abortion from a biblical point of view, government from a biblical point of view. But all of a sudden, people from over 150 different nations coming in the country for work or to avoid being prosecuted at home or terrorists. There's an article I wrote on Finish the Race. There's another story where the Biden administration or the Border Patrol, ICE, they released a terrorist on the watch list into the United States. They caught him 2 weeks later, but they let him in. The FBI arrested a guy on an asylum hold, Muslim, that was setting up plans to kill George Bush. And he wanted to see would it be possible to bring in the assassins through Mexico. So how many terrorists are coming across the border? How many human traffickers are coming across the border? How much fentanyl is coming across the border? So if someone says to me, well, God says you should take everybody in, then I have to ask you, no, if I'm supposed to protect my family, and if I don't, I'm worse than a non-believer. And if you say that to me, but you lock your car doors, you turn on an alarm when you get into your house, and you don't allow just anybody to randomly walk in and eat your food and take your stuff and take your money, then don't talk to me. Our government is not a living entity. They're elected people that are supposed to support the ideas of their constituents and pass laws that are constitutional. The government is amoral. The people in it are immoral. It's not God. It does nothing except for the power that the people allow their politicians to take over them. The only way we turn this around is if we deconstruct what has built up. If you close the Department of Education and everything goes back local, then the people can monitor the local people. The schools are going to be controlled by the parents and the local school boards. And then we're going to have individuals and individual cities and individual states that are raising their families in accordance with their values. And that is the Great Resets, World Economic Forum's worst nightmare. It's the Joe Biden left's worst nightmare. And BlackRock Financial, through their ESG score and everything, is going to try to force companies to force you to stop thinking this way. The good news is, if you're a Christian, God's sovereign. This is all expected. He's working things out. On the downer side, if you just look at things from the average person, if the country wants to continue this direction, then there's a point, could be now, where you can look at people and say they've been turned over. Whoever would say that a man can have a baby or a period, and that babies should be aborted up to 9 months, but people should be able to come in the country unvetted, and that God should be removed from the culture, but children should be groomed in first grade at Disneyland. That's immoral, and that's coming from a position of being turned over to a delusional mind, living in a world that's governed by Lucifer and the demonic hosts that were kicked out of heaven for trying to overthrow God. That is why this all makes sense. The reason why bad things happen is because God is sovereign and he causes all things. But man's heart is wicked, and man likes to do wicked things. The secularist will tell me, well, we're born good. Show me that. Why are 2-year-olds fighting over toys? Why, if children aren't spanked and allowed to just grow up, why do children raised in single-family homes without any discipline? Look at what happens in the urban areas. High birth rates, 10, 12, 13-year-olds. High abortion rates, high crime, murder rates. So to close it up, terrible day in Texas. Nothing to do with the gun, has to do with the culture, has to do with the madman. I think apparently he's dead. So those who want liberty are going to have to fight again for a period of time over preserving our right to bear arms. Keep an eye on WEF.org. Go to the World Economic Forum or go on YouTube to the Great Reset. Get educated on what's going on. Or Rebel News has reporters out there. You need to know what's going on with the ESG-scores, BlackRock-Financial, and the Great Reset. And keep in mind that we have to deconstruct the federal government, which means in 22, if we take back the Congress, when I say we the people, which would mean the Republican Party, because we only have two choices, they then would start to pull back all funding and, if possible, to defund the cabinet positions of Joe Biden. Impeach Joe Biden for leaving the border open, allowed terrorists in. Kamala Harris. And then the House of Representatives, I believe, the Speaker of the House, which would be Republican, would become the president. I believe. It's not a political ploy. It is, Joe Biden, you're dangerous. Get out of here. Kamala Harris, you're clueless and dangerous. Get out of here. And then everything has to be focused on, if you're in the country illegally, you're going home. We end asylum. Countries don't have to have asylum. You end it. If you end asylum, guess what happens? The invasion ends. It's over. Because our immigration laws don't allow for economic migrants. They're only coming up here to try to say, I'm afraid for my life. I lost my visa and my paperwork, and I think I'm from Ukraine, or I think I'm from Somalia. So finish your race individually by being engaged in the culture, living life to its fullest, pursuing your dreams, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. But at the same time, be prepared to help people. And the way we do that is to get them to help us deconstruct our government down to small, controllable, local government rule and a federal government that no longer has a major say over our life. My other sponsor, MyPillow, has huge sales going on right now. MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code. Our show is Finish the Race. So the first three letters, FTR. Go to mypillow.com/FTR. He's got like $90 off these high-end, really nice slippers. Like $40 now. Buy one, get one free. 60% off. Check them out. I'm seriously. I sleep on MyPillow sheets, the Giza sheets, the pillow, mattress topper. Huge sales going on right now. Go to mypillow.com/FTR. mypillow.com/FTR. Don't miss out. Great sales. My neck used to hurt when I woke up. It hasn't since I've been sleeping on a MyPillow. My shoulder used to be numb when I woke up. I put down this mattress topper, 3 inches of foam, made my bed feel brand new again. I don't wake up with a numb shoulder. I sleep like a baby. The towels are soft and absorbent and the sheets are from the Giza region in Egypt. Soft, breathable, long lasting. So go to mypillow.com/FTR. Make sure you use a promo code of FTR at checkout to save up to 66% or more. And again, if you want to save $900 a year on your cell phone or 50% on your private phone, or just your individual phone, go to getpuretalk.com. Getpuretalk.com. Promo code is FLS. Thank you so much for listening. Pray for the country. Be engaged. And we have to fight for liberty's sake.
Welcome to Finish. Thank you for listening to Finish the Race. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
My friends and I love it.
It's drastically changed my life.
For more information and updates, please visit finishtherace.com. To get in touch with others in our community, please visit megabook.com. We thank you once again for tuning in. Have a blessed day.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow,
I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
You go to mypillow.com, mypillow.com/FTR, mypillow.com/FTR.
We all have smartphones. Isn't it time for a smart plan? Pure Talk USA offers Simply Smarter wireless that covers 99% of Americans. Stop overpaying for wireless. Unlimited plans start as low as $20 per month and include the same great coverage. You never pay for any data overage fees, and Pure Talk USA never turns off your data. No contracts, no hidden fees, no surprises. If you're thinking our absurdly low cost means less coverage, think again. Pure Talk USA operates on the largest GSM network in the U.S. to ensure you're connected virtually anytime, anywhere. And our 4G LTE network provides the fastest internet speeds like more expensive carriers. You can keep your same phone and your same phone number. Add multiple lines to save 20% off your total bill. Go to puretalkusa.com and do something smart today. Unlimited talk and text plans start at $20 per month. No contracts, no activation fees, no reasons not to try. Come to puretalkusa.com and see how much you can save. Enter this promo code to receive 50% off your first month.
Get the best deal on the out there right now. Go to puretalk.com. Get puretalk.com. Get puretalk.com and use the promo code FLS.